Welcome everyone. Today is Wednesday, June 6th. Wednesday, Odin's Day in the old Celtic tradition. So like today's June 6th, most people probably don't even know June 6th is what they call D-Day, which was the invasion of Europe from the American and British forces. June 6, 1945, I believe, could have been 44. June 6, 1944, which was, who knows, that's like 74 years ago. But that was the beginning of the turning of the tide. We are the hope that will not hide. We are the turning of the tide, dear friends. We are the hope that will not hide. We are the turning of the tide. And may this tide turn in favor of whatever journey that you are upon, dear friends. And may this be what the Pink Floyd calls the turning away, but in a good way, in a holy good way, on this holy good day. And the turning of the tide in Natio Dromnia, which the Allied forces, call them the Western forces, landed on the beaches of Normandy in France and began their inland invasion, occupation of France and defeating the Nazis and the Axis powers, and it took a long time. So this D-Day, I believe it stands for something like Disembarkment Day or Debarkment Day or something, I don't know, some military term. I'm not real happy about military terms, but that's just one form of D-Day. May this be a declaration day for a higher way, for a higher union, for this entire planet. And we're going to call this particular GreenFire journey today Thinking Outside the Bucks, B-U-C-K-S. Not the buck stops here. This is called thinking outside the bucks, not beyond the bucks, outside the bucks. A lot of us in the matrix, or whatever you call it, when you're living in the system, the empire, live inside a world that says that it's capitalism and it's thinking inside the box, inside the bucks. So all they want you to do is think inside the bucks and become a consumer and just consume commodities all day to keep the whole game going. And the game ain't helping nobody. It's not helping you, it ain't helping Mother Earth, and it certainly isn't helping our communities. So don't listen to all these corporations, how much they give to charities. They're not giving it, you're paying for that. It's coming out of you, prices you pay at the cash register. Oh, we gave to the Red Cross and we gave to United Way. No, they didn't give. They wrote it off on their taxes, and it's coming out of the profits that you gave them. And also the workers. So they didn't give nothing, it's you that gives. And they write it off and continue on their merry profit way. But those days, their day is going to come. How's that? As they say, your day is going to come. And the harder they come, the harder they fall, one and all. You look up and check out Redemption Song and Bob Marley and the harder they come with the Wailers. And we're also celebrating, this is the first Wednesday in June. So we take some time to celebrate June in the natural cycle of things, the lunar cycle. And at a glance, this is the 6th of June, and there is a better creation that we're looking at here. Pachamama entreats us to restore her clean waters. allowing the singing of the birds to bring peace to her skies. Renew cosmic harmonies on our sacred land. Pachamama is the name for Mother Earth that's used in the Inca, in Peru, and in the Andes. Pachamama. Pachamama se calienta. Pachamama, mama, 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 mama. Pachamama. Pachamama, mama, 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 mama. Pachamama. Pachamama entreats us to restore her clean waters, allowing the singing of birds to bring peace to her skies. Renew cosmic harmonies on our sacred land. Last night I had a dream, and in this dream I was in very many different peace camps and peace walks across North America, Mother Earth, Turtle Island, for nuclear disarmament, and to reclaim our land for the indigenous people. A peace walk to reclaim our land on Mother Earth. And in the dream I was wearing this hat, this hat I wore on many peace walks across North America. And on the hat is many different peace buttons, like we've come to reclaim our land, no more nukes, a nuclear disarmament now. Most of it is all about nuclear disarmament, almost all of it. One says peacekeeper. One button has a shape of clouds in the Western Shoshone Nation, and in the shape of the clouds are the faces of the elders and ancestors. Very beautiful. Singing, "We've come to reclaim our land," which they called Newe Segovia, by the Treaty of Ruby Valley of 1864. And in this dream, I was wearing this hat, and wherever I went, this hat had its own life, maybe even 9 lives, and it brought a good heart and good mind to the people. It won hearts and minds. And so I decided, okay, today I had this dream, so I'm going to wear this hat. So this hat that I'm wearing came literally out of a dream I had last night. I decided to wear it and share it with you in the golden eternity of this hour called the GreenFire. My beginnings. I was a single cell. I divided, multiplied. As a fish, I made bones, teeth. Come closer, the moon whispered. I grew lungs, limbs. Marvel to see my footprints in the mud. My legs lengthened, I grew hair. After the dinosaurs disappeared, I was called mitochondrial Eve, my skin dark as the new moon. I was afraid to leave Africa, who wouldn't be? I was hungry, I migrated to the Middle East, planted figs, olive trees, quenched my thirst with pomegranate seeds, learned the movements of the stars. There were wars, I kept wandering, found the Northlands. It was cold, my skin paled, I sheared sheep, taught myself to knit, covered hands, my ears, our beds. There were wars. By then, I knew how to leave. I crossed a cold gray ocean named, I like to think, for Atlanta, fast on her feet. I heard whales, dolphins calling me. Join us, they sang. Too late, I replied. But if I survive, I'll give birth to a girl who's known gills. Like you, she'll breathe through her blowhole. She's come a great distance. I've carried her all my life. Like me, she'll wear the sea inside. My beginnings. Yamaya. Yamaya is one of the goddesses of the sea. And Gaia Wolf Nightingale made a beautiful painting of that in 2008. And my beginnings was Joan Rocky Delaplane, 2016. And a beautiful piece. So we'll visit it again. I was a single cell. I divided, multiplied. As a fish, I made bones, teeth. Come closer, the moon whispered. I grew lungs, limbs, marveled to see my footprints in the mud. My legs lengthened, I grew hair. After the dinosaurs disappeared, I was called mitochondrial Eve, my skin dark as the new moon. I was afraid to leave Africa. Who wouldn't be? I was hungry. I migrated to the Middle East, planted figs, olive trees, quenched my thirst with pomegranate seeds, learned the movements of the stars. There were wars. I kept wandering, found the Northlands. It was cold. My skin paled. I sheared sheep, taught myself to knit, covered hands, my ears, our beds. There were wars. By then, I knew how to leave. I crossed a cold gray ocean named, I like to think, for Atalanta, fast on her feet. I heard whales, dolphins calling me. Join us, they sang. Too late, I replied. But if I survive, I'll give birth to a girl who's known gills. Like you, she'll breathe through her blowhole. She's come a great distance. I've carried her all my life. Like me, she'll wear the sea inside. We all have the sea inside of us, dear friends, salt water for tears. And 70% of the earth is made of water, and so are we. May we never forget that. And this is the moon's earth. Juno is the goddess of June. Look up Juno. She's really beautiful. It's more the mothering kind. And June is the time to be looking up and looking out for Jupiter. Jupiter and Juno. And that is good. That is good. This is a waning half moon in Pisces today on June 6th at 1:32 Central Daylight Time. Waning half moon in Pisces. And the moon is about half moon right now. And it'll be moving toward a new moon on, it looks like, around Friday the 15th. Or it could be Wednesday the 13th. About a week from today will be the new moon. And the moon has all kinds of magic and mystery to it. Be tuned in to the moon in June. Could bring you into a swoon. And that's beautiful. Now we're going to go deeper into the deep zone, deeper into a deeper zone. This piece just written on South Dubuque Street in Iowa City about a half hour ago is called Think Outside the Box. Most people say, well, think outside the box for new innovation and all this stuff. Well, those innovators, they think outside the box. Well, this is way beyond the West. This is saying think outside the bucks. B-U-C-K-S. No, the buck doesn't stop here because there are no bucks. This is thinking outside the box. So, dear friend, even if you just grab a hold of this just for an instant, just think of this. Grab a hold of this thought. Think outside the box. Do that 3 times. Think outside the box. Think outside the box. All that stuff that has dollar signs on it, it has a price on it. Think outside the box, dear friend. That'll free your soul. Think outside the box. Coming around the Riverside Curve into Iowa City, the Palace of Dreams occurs. In front of 528 South Dubuque Street, there is a tall leaning tree. The leaning tree almost just at a 60-degree angle. There is a tall leaning tree. It's a magnetic deviation zone, an anomalous phenomena of learning in the palace of dreams and art. And Art Scrotum Stroker doesn't live there because he thinks inside the box, always plotting, always scheming, always demanding, never learning, never giving, never forgiving. He sits inside his MBA suite, always calculating, always subdividing the real estate he doesn't even own. He sits there night and day in front of his screen, squeezes out the last demons of his hedge fund. That is his entire foreplay for the day. He never consummates his day, as he always thinks inside the bucks, and not a whole lot of people know about him, as he hides behind screens from wake up to drop dead away sleep, counting his profits instead of sheep. And when you come around the riverside curve into the palace of dreams, you don't think about these things. They are horizontal. You begin to learn a new way. You begin to think outside the box. What does this mean? It means you vacate the scene, the horizontal scene of the top-down authoritarian mind, culturally created to have a chaos that keeps the sheep from ever looking up. That keeps the sheep from ever looking up. The same horizontal scene that has as its dogma for the religion of churchianity, of shock jock broker developers, the wrecking ball whoopee crane of creative destruction, of built-in obsolescence of the grim raper called capitalism, in the belly of the beast of the whorehouse called Babylon. And to thus think outside the box is exodus. Exodus from the horizontal plane. Everyone is staked upon, where telephone poles are crucifixes upon the earth, whose talking wires sputter the offal of Babylon's gutter talk of Attila the stockbroker. And this human never lets up in the beta wave capital called empire. And this hum never lets up in the beta wave capital called empire. Why do they call it enterprise? Because they got you thinking, if you enter, you get a prize. What they don't tell you is some Wall Street sucker comes up behind you and double rabbit punches you by surprise. That's your prize, sucker. It's called bankruptcy in good old Babylon. And that's horizontal thinking inside the bucks, on the stake plane, in your face now, Babylon capitalism. It ain't got no moral compass. It's just got the demon seed of greed. And no cat in the hat can pull your shit back, Jack, because this shit for brains has a combine ravager as a raper of the commons, and all good things, even common sense. Why? Because of people who think inside the bucks. To think outside the box, what does this mean? It means you vacate the scene, the horizontal scene of top-down authoritarian mind, culturally created with intentional chaos that keeps the sheep from ever looking up because there's so much stress and chaos, intentional chaos. and it keeps the sheep from ever looking up. The same horizontal scene that has as its dogma for the religion of churchianity of shock jock stockbroker developers, the wrecking ball whoopee crane of creative destruction. This is built-in obsolescence of the grim raper called capitalism in the belly of the beast, of the whorehouse called Babylon. And to thus think outside the box is exodus. Exodus from the horizontal plane everyone is staked upon, where telephone poles are crucifixes upon the earth, whose talking wires sputter the offal of Babylon's gutter talk of Attila the stockbroker, and this hum never lets up in the beta wave capital called empire. Why do they call it enterprise? Because they got you thinking if you enter, you get a prize. What they don't tell you is some Wall Street sucker comes up behind you and double rabbit punches you by surprise. That's your prize, sucker. It's called bankruptcy in good old Babylon. And that's horizontal thinking inside the bucks. On the stake plane in your face, now baboon Babylon capitalism. It ain't got no moral compass, it's just got the demon seed of greed. And no cat in the hat can pull your shit back, Jack. 'Cause this shit for brains has a combine ravager as a raper of the commons and all good things, even common sense. Why? Because of people who think inside the bucks. So now, dear friend, let's take a pause right here. Let's just stop and take a pause right here. A pause that refreshes. A pause that refreshes. Let's breathe deep here. Let's breathe in peace and breathe out love. And let us breathe in love, and let us breathe out peace, and let us breathe in peace, and let us breathe out love, and let us breathe in love, and let us breathe out peace, and let us breathe in peace, and let us breathe out love. So now, dear friend, we're taking this pause that refreshes right here, and let's breathe deeper here. Let's now bring this whole thing to a standstill. Let us now bring this whole thing to a standstill. Let's begin to look up, maybe for the first time in a long time. Let us begin to look up in the night sky and see Jupiter sailing right on by. Let us begin to look up in the June night sky and see dear beloved Jupiter sailing right on by. Let's now, when we look up, let's begin to go vertical. We're leaving the horizontal plane now. Jack has left home, and he has planted the beans, and the beanstalks are growing, and Jack is now climbing the beanstalks. Jack has left home now. He's climbing the beanstalk. There is a rupture of plane. Jack has entered great time, great work, great story, great mind. Jack has gone vertical. He has left the horizontal plane of daily Babylon thinking inside the bucks. So let's go vertical with Jack, and let's go vertical beyond Jack. Let's begin to think outside the bucks by going vertical. That means the radical thought that a lot of things are free. That means the radical thought and the inhabiting of that thought in our very being, the ontological structure, the ground of our being, with this radical thought that a lot of things are free. Let us now think outside the box and live outside the box by beginning to be the meaning of that radical thought that a lot of things are free. That is in our very being. It's our birthright. A lot of things are free. Let's begin to look at the space between the molecules, dear friend. Get down on the subatomic structure, look at the space between the protons and the neutrons and the tachyons, all those muons. Let's look at the space at the subatomic molecular structure. The space between atoms, the space between protons, neutrons, positrons, the space between muons and not so muons. The space between objects. Let's look at the space between objects. This stuff is necessary, this space between objects. This is the right stuff. This is the right stuff. This stuff don't carry no unholy. This stuff don't carry no unholy, dear friend. This is beyond all dogma. This is beyond all orthodoxy. This is beyond all hierarchy. This is beyond all churchianity. This is beyond all authority. This is beyond all states. This is beyond all empires. This is beyond all institutions. This is beyond all foundations. This is vertical, dear friend. This is free. Verite is vertical. It is truth is free. Thou shalt know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. This is vertical, dear friend. This is free. Where we begin to set the terminology, we are the ones who are going to name this stuff. We begin to name this stuff by setting the terminology. To think outside the box, we need a new language. This is not necrophiliac thinking, love of death thinking, that the horizontal baboon of capitalism lives thinking inside the box, which is necrophiliac thinking, love of death. This is biophiliac thinking. This is love of life thinking, where biocracy is the key, in the commons, round the riverside curve, where the seventh generation yet to come has a hold, a certain hold, and this ecstasy has got a hold on me, and has a hold on this vision, which now occurs in the palace of dreams, called the Good Red Road, the road of life, which runs north and south, which is vertical, dear friend. So now let's take a pause, and we've taken a pause, and we breathe deeply again. Breathing in love, breathing out peace. Breathing in peace, breathing out love. Breathing in love, breathing out peace. Breathing in peace, breathing out love. In this time, in this living time. Let's breathe deep again. Breathing in love, breathing out peace. Breathing in peace, breathing out love.